Mouse by Art Spiegelman. Mouse is a graphic novel by Art Spiegelman that explores his father's, Vladek's life during World War II. As a dual narrative showing Art with his dad talking about the life during the war and the visualized story of Vladek's life as a survivor of the Holocaust. The way the story is visualized with masks is unique, with the Jewish being masked as mice, Germans as cats, and the Polish being pigs. In the book we see the struggles Vladek faced, but he always remained hopeful and looking for a way to escape with his family. But always something goes wrong. An example of betrayal and false hope that are one of the key themes that I'll explain throughout this video. The other theme is trauma, especially the trauma of Vladek, as a result of the many hardships during the Holocaust he faced. In Chapter 6, Mousetrap, we get to witness a key event that we see have a lasting impact on Vladek throughout the book, where he gets sent to Auschwitz. This is a result of the first theme I'm going to discuss, which is betrayal and false hope. That can be detrimental to someone's mental health and how they might feel that they don't know who to trust, meaning as a Jew in World War II, who can't survive by themselves, getting caught out in the open by the Germans. In this snippet of Chapter 6, we see Vladek and his wife Anya trapped by the Germans after being sold out by two Polish smugglers. This shows the betrayal in this chapter and how it's so harming with Vladek, not only paying a large sum of money to the smugglers, but also being sent to Auschwitz, which is practically the end of the road for anyone unlucky enough to be trapped inside that death camp. In this we see the juxtaposition between their new life, which was meant to be, and them losing hope and being sent to Auschwitz. The Germans also take off Vladek's pig mask, which is a metaphor for finding out the true identity of Vladek as a Jew, which all contributes to the false hope and betrayal Vladek and his family faced in Chapter 6. In this other part of Chapter 6, we see the relationship between Vladek and Art Spiegelman develop in a bad way, with the conversation between them getting so heated that Art had to leave. Although it was only really Art who yelled, because he didn't understand why his father would burn so many memories after holding on to them for so long, which Art considered murder. This links back to the theme of betrayal in Art's eyes. Vladek seems like an entirely different person, like someone he never knew, and the bleeding of the page in long shot emphasizes how Art Spiegelman feels like an outsider, and his father's actions have pulled them apart. Because why would someone throw away stuff without the slightest bit of concern, as they were mostly memories of Anya, Art's mother, that he'll never get to see. Throughout Chapter 6, betrayal and false hope are very important in both narratives of Mouse, and with the help of visual and literary techniques that enhance the ideas of betrayal, with it being crucial to understand the themes to get a bigger picture of what's going on for the rest of the book, knowing how the characters feel and interact. The second key theme I believe is important to cover is trauma. This is an essential part of Vladek's character development and how his trauma has an impact on Marla and Art, which are both affected by Vladek's way of dealing with his trauma, and both get very upset with the way Vladek seems to not really care about who is affected. Starting off with the first piece of evidence. On page 132, it shows the way Marla has had to deal with Vladek. One of the trauma responses Vladek is having at the beginning of this chapter is the struggle of letting go of possessions, which is literally everything, including money, which was most likely because before the war he was set for life. Didn't have to worry about a thing. But at the start, when the Nazis began to take over the Jewish businesses, he was left with nothing and could barely afford anything. So Vladek feels the security of keeping the money instead of spending it. The way this has impacted Marla is because she feels like she isn't able to live properly with good, clean clothes. She says, "I feel like I'm going to burst," which is a hyperbole. She isn't really going to burst, but she feels like it because of Vladek's conservative actions. On this page, we learn that Vladek ended up destroying a lot of Anya's possessions, which Art was wanting to see so he could have some idea of who his mother was and what she was like. Obviously, Art wasn't too fond of this, became mad at Vladek, although he apologized shortly after. These possessions symbolized the trauma of Vladek and the experiences that came along with them. Vladek felt like the only option for him was to get rid of these items, as seeing them just reminded him of Anya and the struggles he faced with them. Overall, Vladek's trauma was a big part of this chapter, and we really got to see the way he dealt with his emotions, with the help of techniques like symbolism and hyperboles that are crucial for Spiegelman to use to show how Vladek and Marla are feeling. From this chapter, we see the loss of his late wife and the way that the war impacted him, and how he lived so much more conservatively than previously. From chapter 6, we can conclude that both themes of betrayal and false hope and trauma were very important in understanding the complex behaviors of Vladek and how Art Spiegelman creates and develops the story with the use of many literary and visual techniques that develop the overall theme and how they affect the reader's interpretation of the graphic novel. Spiegelman also has a unique approach to show his father's life in the war with the use of anthropomorphism, which gets the reader interested in the story, as it isn't like any other nonfiction story.